see. Hey guys, I'm just working, just adjusting the lighting, making sure there's plenty of good lighting here. And I'm just giving it a minute or two. Well, not a minute or two, but I'm giving it a little bit as people sign on. Hello, hello. I'm starting to see people signing on. Hi there, ladies. Hi, Norma. How's it going? So, today's lesson is going to be netting stitch. I love this stitch. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Kathy. All right, so we are going to learn netting today, and I love this stitch. It just creates these really pretty lacy pieces of jewelry, so you can make necklaces and bracelets. And I have a couple samples here, and you can pretty much choose any kind of bead that you like. Hi, Terry. So here's one example. This is a bracelet that I did with, hey, Jessica. I did this bracelet with 11/0 seed beads, and these are 3x5 rondelles. Hi, Teresa. And as you can see, it's Net 7, and I'll explain what I mean by that in a second, but really pretty lacy pattern, and it's a nice wide cuff, and it makes up really, really quickly. Here's another example that I did using, and this one's actually still, I'm still working on it, but this is actually, hi Jenica, done with 11 and 8s. So my connector bead here is an 8, and the I'm not sure what these are called, but the blue beads here are the 11s basically. So, and again, this is also a net 7. So, and what I mean by that, so netting is done with odd numbers of beads. So if you look at my netting, you've got 3 beads, then you have your connector bead, and then you got 3 more beads. So like the leg beads, I guess these would be. So there's a total of 7. And you can also do this with 5, and you can also do this with 3. So you would reduce the number of leg beads when you do that. So in this, if you're doing net 5, you would have 2 here instead of 3. You would have your connector, and then you would have 2 here. So that would be a net 5. And if you did a net 3, then basically you'd be down to one connector, and then 1 of the other leg beads. So, and netting can be done in lots of different ways. So this is just one way that I'm showing you, and I'm actually going to show you net 5, because I actually often don't see tutorials on net 5. And so what I have here are some 4mm bicones, and I've got my 11/0 seed beads, and I've got some of my wildfire, and what I've done is you'll need a stopper bead if you're typically when you start one of these, and I've picked up 5 of my bicones here, and then in between, hi Gail, I've got 2, hi Myra, you made it! I've got 2 11/0s in between. So what you're going to do, and basically you pick up the number based on how big or wide you want to make your bracelet. In this case, it would be a bracelet. Thanks, Gail. Yeah, these are pretty. These are light sapphire bicones. I love them. And so when you start with your connector bead here. That's how you want to start. And then you pick up your leg beads like I've done here. And so in this case, and then when you're ready to start turning and start making the next row, you want to end with your leg beads. So that's what I've done here, and it really, this just depends on designer's choice, how wide you make this. So let's see, so over here in my example here, it's basically 4 connector beads wide. That's how I started this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one, this other example, I've got a little bit more. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is where I started with. So it's really, again, up to you how you do this. So what I'm going to do now is turn this around. And what you're going to do is you want to just go through, you're only going to go through the bicones. You only go through your connector beads. And so you're going to skip over this one, and you're going to go into this one. just like this, and that's what you get. So you get your first little turnaround loop. Now what you do is you pick up 5 beads because this is net 5. So you're always going to be picking up 5. So you pick up your 2 of the leg beads, is what I'm calling them. Then your connector, and then 2 more of the legs. And again, this is all just up to you. So you can put 15s and 11s in here. You can do 11s and 8s. You can do bicones, and it doesn't have to be 4 millimeters. You do rounds. I have rondelles in this other example over here. So pretty much designer's choice. So now I'm coming out of this one. I'm going to skip over this connector. So it's every other connector, and I'm going down to my connector here at the end. And I want to make sure, I'm trying not to go into my stopper bead here. And there's our first loop. Our first, or 2 rows, our first 2 rows, I guess I should say, not our first loop. And then you just continue. So again, to continue, you're going to start with your 2, then your connector, and then 2 more. So now what you're going to do, so now once you've got it all set up, so this is your start. Now it gets a lot easier to figure out where to go, because you're just going to go to the ones that are kind of your connectors that are sticking out. So my next one is going to be over here. And there it is. And I'm going to continue repeating by picking up my 5. And here's the next coming out. So this is the one that's furthest out. I wouldn't go through that one. And there you have it. Now you can flip this up this way to make it a little easier. So you're working in the upward direction. Now if you're lefty like me, you're going to be building this from right to left. Hi Denise. And if you're a righty, then you're going from left to right. So you're just going to go that way, in that direction. So again, I have my 5, and I am just going to go into this one that's sticking out. Myra, I'm teaching you how to do netting stitch is what I'm teaching you. I'm just showing you the stitch. It's not a tutorial for anything, but just to show you how to set up a netting stitch if you ever wanted to learn this particular stitch. And you pick up 2, your bicone. Yeah, it's really easy, isn't it? And you get some really pretty pieces. So this is a fun project. And that's it. I mean, there it is. And you just keep building. Now to finish this, so if you make a bracelet, you make your length like I did over here. You can do a couple different things. So this one, you can do just a simple loop like this. And that's it. So just pick up some beads and add in your lobster claw clasp. And same thing over here on this side, and I got my jump ring. You can, over here, this other example, you can actually just connect, this one actually connected to the bead. I put the jump ring into the bead in the center and connected it that way. Yeah, I really like it with the bicones. It looks really pretty with the bicones. It looks pretty with a lot of things. You should try it with pearls too, or a type of round bead. And it looks really, really nice with that too. And so let me just show you one more time what to do and continue from there. So again, I'm going to pick up my 2. So if you were doing net 7, you would pick up 3 of these, your connector, and then 3 more. So there. You have it there, and you would continue up here. This is the one that's sticking out, and you'd go from there. So, and that's the other thing with that is it's a trick to doing increases. So if you were making a necklace where you needed to get the drape right, you would actually start a stitch with maybe say net 5, and then you could start increasing to net 7 and net 9 depending on the design of your necklace. And I will down the line I will show you how to do that further down. So as I'm doing these lives, I'm going to try to start showing you more and more complicated little tricks and things that you do when you're making more complicated pieces. But yeah, so here's what net 7 would look like. It's just a few more beads. You can do the increase. And same thing with the decrease. So if you started with net 7, you would decrease just by reducing. Yes, you can alternate. Yeah, so that's a good idea. You can do that. Gail, yep, good point. And yeah, see what, I haven't ever done that before, but definitely see what happens when you try that. And that's it. That's all there is to the stitch. It's really a simple stitch. I think this is one of these underrated stitches that doesn't get a lot of attention anymore. But I really love it. I love making things with it. And you know what's nice? It actually is good for making presents. Yes, exactly. So when you do netting on ornaments, Kathy, that's actually a really good point. You actually are doing increases. And they make, yes, they make really great presents because they make them very quickly and people love them. So I've often given bracelets like these as gifts, and they have such a pretty look to them. They're lacy, and if you pick out their favorite colors in your beads and so forth, and people really, really love them. They think they're very, very, they're very intricate, and you've put a lot of time into making them. I, of course, don't correct that. I'm like, oh yes, I slaved over it for hours and hours and hours. But, all right, so if you guys have any other questions, that's how you do netting. Want to know who to, Myra, I don't understand. I want to know who to close or but the clasp. Oh, you're talking about clasps. So, yeah, so it's basically you come to the end and you're just, you come back around the beads. So you'd make a loop around. So you finish your last one, you'd make a loop around, and then you come back and you just start adding the beads. That's it. So in this situation, that's all I did. So I finished up this last row. I came out here. Then all you do is so what I did was added a little bead at the end of it and then came back up. If you didn't want to add this little bead here at the end, you just kind of keep going and then you work your way back through and you go through the beads. And then you would just make this loop. Does that make sense? Thank you, Denise. And thank you, Kathy. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. And I am going to see you tomorrow, I hope. Tomorrow, same time, 9 p.m. Central. So tomorrow will be day 23, 24, 24. Good night, Barbara. Thank you. Thank you, Barbara. Good night, Norma. You're welcome, Gail. You're welcome, Myra. See you guys later. Oh, you're welcome, Teresa. Bye, Kathy.